My hand was already on the door handle when my phone buzzed. I was halfway into my coat, the heavy wool scratching my neck. Ready for the reconciliation dinner my sister Aurora had practically begged me to attend. I glanced at the screen. It was Mr. Henderson, my lawyer. The message was short, all caps, and terrifying. Stop. Do not drive to Big Sur. It is a trap. Call me now. My breath hitched. A second later, another notification popped up. This one was from Aurora. Did you leave yet? We are all waiting. The contrast between her warm, sisterly text and Henderson's panic-inducing warning sent a jolt of ice straight down my spine. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I froze. The realization washing over me like cold water. I slowly took my hand off the doorknob, walked back to the sofa, sat down, and dialed my lawyer. Before I tell you the sick plan my sister had waiting for me at that dinner table. Drop a comment below. Have you ever had a gut feeling that a family gathering was going to go wrong? Like, really wrong? Let me know, I'm not the only one. Henderson didn't waste time with small talk. His voice was tight. The kind of professional urgency that cuts through panic. Emma, listen to me very carefully. Aurora isn't planning to sue you for the estate. A lawsuit takes too long. And you turn 25 next week. That's when the $15 million trust fund legally transfers to your control. She can't wait for a court date. He paused, and the silence on the line felt heavy enough to crush a lung. She has hired a private patient transport team. They are waiting in the garage at the Big Sur house right now. The plan is to stage an intervention during dinner. She's going to claim you are having a psychotic break, that you are a danger to yourself. She has a corrupt doctor on site ready to sign a 5150 involuntary psychiatric hold. If you walk into that house, you won't walk out. You'll be sedated, restrained, and locked in a facility until the birthday deadline passes. Once you're declared incapacitated, she keeps control of the money forever. I sat there, the phone pressed against my ear, and felt the world tilt. But then, it snapped back into focus with terrifying clarity. Suddenly, the last 3 years of my life made sense. It wasn't just bad luck. It was a campaign. For years, I had convinced myself I was broken. I thought I was the problem. The missing car keys that would vanish from the hook and reappear in the fridge. The important emails I swore I sent that mysteriously vanished from my outbox. The appointments I missed because the calendar alerts had been deleted. Every time I panicked. Every time I cried in frustration. Aurora was there. She would put a hand on my shoulder, her face arranged in a mask of tragic pity. Oh, Emma. She would sigh, her voice dripping with that sickening, weaponized sweetness. You're having one of your episodes again. You're getting just like Mom was towards the end. I had believed her. I had swallowed her concern like poison, thinking it was medicine. I had let her convince me that my mind was a crumbling fortress, and she was the only one holding the walls up. But looking at the evidence Henderson was sending to my screen, the emails between her and the transport service, the payment schedule for the doctor, the fog in my brain evaporated. I wasn't crazy. I was being hunted. It is a terrifying thing to realize the person who raised you after your parents died doesn't love you. They are just farming you. She had normalized the cruelty so effectively that I had thanked her for it. She had turned my life into a gaslight flickering in a dark room, making me doubt my own reality so I wouldn't notice her hand in my pocket. But she made a critical error. She thought breaking my confidence meant she had broken my intelligence. She was wrong. Emma Henderson's voice brought me back. Are you there? You need to stay away from Big Sur. No, I said. My voice didn't shake. It sounded cold. Metallic. Like a chamber being loaded. If I don't go, she'll just try again next week. She'll ambush me at my apartment or my office. I need to end this tonight. What are you doing? I'm going to dinner, I said, standing up. But I'm not going as the victim, she wrote into her script. I'm going to rewrite the ending. I hung up. I didn't feel fear anymore. I felt the cold, hard hum of calculation. It wasn't a breakdown. It was a balance sheet. And Aurora was about to be audited. I didn't pack an overnight bag. I packed evidence. My first stop was a private diagnostic lab downtown. I didn't waste time with appointments or insurance cards. I paid the rush fee in cash. 45 minutes later, I walked out with the paper shield that would save my life, a time-stamped, comprehensive toxicology screen, and a psychiatric clearance stating I was lucid, sober, and fully oriented. 0 drugs. 0 alcohol. 0 confusion. I sat in the front seat of my car and made the call I had been dreading. Kaylee. My niece answered on the first ring. Her voice a terrified whisper. She was 16. Trapped in that glass house on the cliff, with parents who loved their lifestyle more than their own blood. Aunt Emma, are you coming? They're here? There's a white van parked behind the guest house. I saw men in scrubs carrying straps. I know, I said, keeping my voice steady to anchor her. Listen to me carefully. Do you see the wine decanter? The one your mom always sets out for me? Yeah. It's on the sidebar. Next to it. There should be a small blue vial. She tells everyone it's my anxiety medication. I see it. She just put it there. Switch it. What? Dump it down the sink. Rinse it. Fill it with the liquid sweetener drops from the pantry. Do it now. Kaylee, before she comes back downstairs. Aunt Emma. I'm scared. What if she catches me? She won't. You are smarter than her. If you do this, I promise, I will get us both out of there tonight. Can you be brave for 2 minutes? Silence stretched over the line. I could hear her breathing. Fast and shallow. Then, a shaky exhale. Okay. I'm doing it. Good girl. Delete this call. I hung up and started the engine. The drive to Big Sur usually felt like an escape into paradise. Today, it felt like a deployment into a war zone. The highway wound along the edge of the continent. The Pacific Ocean, crashing hundreds of feet below. Violent and gray. The fog was rolling in, thick as wet cotton, erasing the world until all that was left was the asphalt in front of me. Aurora had chosen this location perfectly. It was a dead zone. No cell service. No neighbors to hear you scream. Just the relentless sound of the waves and the suffocating isolation. She thought the isolation was her weapon. She thought she was luring a helpless, confused little sister into a cage where no one could hear her cry for help. She didn't know I had a satellite hotspot hidden in the lining of my purse. She didn't know I had Henderson and the county sheriff trailing 5 miles behind me in an unmarked car. I checked my reflection in the rearview mirror. I didn't look like a fragile girl on the verge of a breakdown. I looked like a CEO walking into a boardroom to fire everyone. I wasn't driving to a family dinner. I was driving to a crime scene. And I was the one bringing the handcuffs. The house sat on the edge of the cliff like a jagged tooth modern. Glass-walled. And completely exposed to the violent elements. Yet entirely sealed off from the world. As I killed the engine, the fog swallowed the driveway behind me. It was a solid white wall. No exit. I glanced at my phone. No service. Just as Henderson had predicted. Aurora had a signal jammer running. I stepped out. The sound of the ocean crashing against the rocks hundreds of feet below was a low, rhythmic boom, vibrating through the soles of my shoes. Aurora opened the front door before I even reached the steps. She was dressed in cream cashmere, looking every inch the concerned, benevolent matriarch. Emma, she breathed, reaching out to pull me into a hug that felt more like a frisk for a wire. I was so worried you wouldn't make it. You know how you get with driving at night. I made it, I said, letting my voice waver, just a fraction. I pulled back and wrapped my arms around myself. Mimicking a self-soothing gesture, I knew she would interpret as anxiety. The fog. It was really thick. I think I got turned around twice. See, she shot a significant look over my shoulder at Chad, my brother-in-law, who was hovering in the hallway like a ghost in his own house. I told you she shouldn't be driving. She's confused. I walked inside. The house was freezing. It was a smart home. Temperature controlled to a sterile 68 degrees that made the hair on my arms stand up. Come. Sit. Aurora commanded, guiding me to the dining table. It was set for 4. I want you to meet someone. This is Dr. Vance. He's an old friend of Chad's from the club. He just happened to be in the neighborhood. Doctor. Vance stood up. He was thick-set, sweating slightly despite the chill in the room. He didn't look like a dinner guest. He looked like a bouncer in a blazer. He assessed me not with friendliness, but with clinical, predatory calculation. Nice to meet you, Emma, he said. His voice was heavy. Aurora has told me so much about you. I bet she has, I murmured, staring at the floor, playing the part of the cowed, fragile sister. Sit, sweetie. Aurora pushed me into the chair facing the floor-to-ceiling window. Outside, it was pitch black. All I could see was my own reflection in the glass, trapped in the light of the chandelier. On the sideboard, the wine decanter sat waiting. The red liquid glinted under the recessed lighting. I watched as Aurora walked over to it. Her movements were precise, rehearsed. She poured a generous glass, her back slightly to me, shielding the action, even though Kaylee had already neutralized the threat. She brought the glass to me and placed it directly in front of my hand. Drink, she said softly. It's a Pinot, your favorite. It will help calm your nerves. You're shaking, Emma. I looked at my hand on the tablecloth. I made sure it trembled. I've been having a hard time. Aurora, I stammered, looking up at her with wide, pleading eyes. I don't know what's real anymore. I feel like I'm losing time. It was the exact line she wanted to hear. It was the script she had written for me over 3 years of gaslighting. A flash of triumph crossed her face, quick and sharp as a scalpel. She touched my cheek, her fingers cold. I know. Honey? I know. That's why we're here. We're going to take care of you. We're going to make sure you get the help you need. But first, you need to relax. Drink. Chad turned away, staring at the wall, unable to watch. Doctor. Vance leaned forward instead, eyes fixed on the glass, waiting for the drugs to take effect. I lifted the stemware and let the liquid swirl. To them, it was the end of my freedom. To me, it was sugar water and grape juice. To family, I murmured. To family, Aurora echoed, smiling for the first time that night. I drank. The trap was sprung. They just didn't realize I wasn't the mouse. 3 minutes passed. Aurora checked her watch. This was when I was supposed to slump, disappear. Oh God, she cried on cue. She's crashing. Doctor? Vance, do something. The kitchen door burst open. 2 men in dark scrubs rushed in, carrying restraints and a straitjacket. Secure her arms, Vance ordered, reaching for a syringe. She'll resist. Chad covered his face. Aurora grabbed my shoulders. I'm sorry, Emma. It's for your own good. I stood up. The wine glass shattered as Aurora stumbled back. Sticky liquid, soaking her white pants. Get away from me, I said calmly. The room froze. The men hesitated. Vance stopped mid-motion. She's manic, Aurora shrieked. She's dangerous. The only dangerous person here is you, I replied. I placed a small black satellite unit on the table. The green light was solid. We're live streaming to Mr. Henderson and the sheriff. Vance went pale. The syringe slipped from his hand. You're bluffing, Aurora hissed. Not for me. I dropped a document beside the decanter. Time-stamped toxicology report. Clean. No drugs. No alcohol. I looked at Vance. Touch me, and you lose your license forever. He backed away. She said she had power of attorney. She does, I said. Turning to Aurora. She shook. Mask, cracking. I decide what happens to you. I didn't drink the wine, I said quietly. Kaylee switched it. Aurora froze. She poured your cocktail down the sink 2 hours ago. Sirens cut through the fog. I smiled. Dinner's over. The front door exploded inward. Deputies flooded the room. The men in scrubs dropped instantly. Vance tried to run, he didn't make it. Henderson stepped through the wreckage. Aurora Roberts, you are under arrest for conspiracy, false imprisonment, and medical fraud. Aurora screamed. I have power of attorney, and that's why you lose everything. Henderson said. By abusing it. You triggered the disinheritance clause. Her face drained of color. I gave you that power on purpose. I said softly. I needed you to use it. They dragged her toward the door. She screamed for Kaylee. Kaylee stepped forward. Calm. Holding a small amber vial. This is what she tried to drug the wine with. Ketamine. From the vet. Aurora collapsed. As they took her away, she spat. You did this. No. I said. You did. 6 months later, the house was gone. The trust was secure. Kaylee lives with me now. She's healing. So am I. Cutting off toxic family isn't betrayal. It's surgery. And for the first time, I am free. 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 I am free.